Continuing with data analysis, we're working on sort and filter data today. Sorting data is an integral part of data analysis. You might want to arrange a list of names in alphabetic order, compile a list of product inventory levels from highest to lowest, or order rows by colors or icons. Sorting data helps you quickly visualize and understand your data better, organize and find the data that you want, and ultimately make more effective decisions. You can sort data by text A to Z, numbers smallest to largest or largest to smallest, date and time oldest to newest, and newest to oldest in one column or columns, custom lists such as large, medium, and small, and formats like cell color, font color, or icon sets. Let's see how sorting works in Excel. But before I do this, since I created exact duplicate of my original data in the sort and filter area in the table, let me show you a nifty little series of commands that helps you to create your spreadsheets. Since sort, filter, and table are identical, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my sort, hold my shift key down, select my filter and table. Then I will highlight my headings. And in this case, I want to go to Home, make it boldface, make it 12 points, and also give it some fill color in the background. Select my dates, Shift, and make them centered. I'd like to increase the size of my ship country just so slightly. So by doing this in a sort datasheet, since I created a group called sort, filter, and table, I make the same exact changes on the other datasheets. Let's take a look. This is my filter, and this is my table. They all took the same effect. Now, let's look at the sort and see how sorting works. You want to start with your heading columns. And since this spreadsheet is fairly large, I'm going to use Control, Shift, and to highlight entire my sheet in this case, and then go to Data, select Sort. Now I'm presented with a Sort dialog box. I can add a level to this. Since I selected, I included my headings, I will say my data has headers. So sort by headers is coming up. So actually I can make an intelligent decision which columns I wanted to just sort by. Let's say in this case we are interested to sort by ship countries, and it's A to Z. We'll changing it to Z to A. Click OK, and everything's sorted based on ship countries. This is sort by text. So I can do A to Z or Z to A, and it's only text values that I'm interested. Press Control Z, and back to what I was before. Now let's see how sorting by numbers works. Again, you highlight the whole thing, click on Sort. Numbers that I have is Order ID in this case, and I want to select Order ID, smallest to largest, or largest to smallest. It seems like it's smallest to largest. Let's change that one to largest to smallest. Click OK. And sure enough, 11077 is larger than 11076 and 0575 and so on and so forth. Now let's try sort by date or time. In this case, we go click on sort. I'm selecting my order date. Let's start our order dates from newest to oldest. This is 1996, so I'm expecting a much higher number, which is 1988. And going all the way down, as you can see, and he's sorted. Now, let's say we would like to make more than one criteria. We would like to have order IDs and countries. So let's try this. Sort. First, I like to order it based on ship country. Let's make it C2A. Then I also want to add a level to this based on order ID, and we make that one smallest to largest. We'll see. Okay. So everything showing up based on ship country, and the numbers increasing as we go forward with our order ID. Let's say USA starts from 10,262, 10,269, 271, and so on and so forth. So this is how the sorting works. Of course, you can do other methods. Let's use conditional formatting and then sort it based on conditional formatting. In this case, I'm selecting conditional formatting, new row, and then cells that contains specific text contains USA. We would like to make that one to be orange and bold. See, okay. Okay. And now we have our USA showing orange. Let's do another one. Cells, new rule, formats only cells that contains text, specific text, and it is France. Would like to make that one bold, change its color to blue, click on OK, and OK. Now we have France in blue and USA in orange. Now let's select our, in this case, go through here, Control Shift and select entire table that we have. Okay, remember for sorting you have to select entire your table, otherwise it will, if you select only a column, it will only sort that column and all your data will go out of whack. Data, sort. Our sort value would be ship country. In this case, we are interested for font color, and let's make them bottom here. So the ones that the font colors shows up on top and the rest on the bottom. Okay, there it is. Our font colors showing up like this. Now, if you want to make that a little bit more interesting, you can add sort, add a level. In this case, ship country A to Z. So it's showing up font colors in France showing first, then USA showing second, and then rest of our countries showing up afterwards. This is how sorting works. Now let's try filter. Filters are really important. In my opinion, gives you more power. So let's click on filter. What you have to do is I'm going to highlight my headings, click on filter, and you notice there's a drop down on each one of my columns showing up. Now, what we have to do is, if we want to filter something, let's try use the drop down. If you find an order ID, I click on a drop down. I can sort from smallest to largest, largest to smallest, sort by color or custom sort I can do. And also I can select any one of the records that I'm interested. Let's say instead of showing all of these data that I have, I'm going to select only 3 data. So I want to see every orders that starts with 10-248, 10-249, and 10-250 showing up. Where's my records? And only the 3 records are showing. The other ones are hidden. They're filtered. We can select all come. We can do the same thing with your order dates. You can have, instead of selecting all of the dates, we can say 1997. Click OK. There's only 1997 data will show up. We can select that. We can try country. Say I am only interested in USA. USA. OK. And there it is. All the USA data will show up. Now, if you want to have sort and using this, so let's say we have the USA showing up here, and we would like to sort our IDs, okay, from Z to A. There it is. So we can have. So in one shot, we were able to just filter at the same time do our order sorts. Filter is much more powerful than just sort by itself, but it depends on what you're trying to do. Now, if you want to unfilter them, you click on filter and that goes away. You bring back your data as what it was prior. Next, tables. Now, tables is even more powerful than filter. Much easier to work with tables than anything else. Let's take a look. You can click on inside your data, go to your insert, and select table. Automatically, it assumes that you do have all your data between A1 to A31, which assumes that everything that you have in your data sheet that you are putting into your table, which is correct. Verify that, and your table has a header. These are your headers. And I will say yes to that. The beauty of table is also gives you a kind of style, which is nice. Now it's a little bit more readable. You can change your styles based on your table styles. Go down and select anything that you want. I'm going to stick with this for a moment. If you want to do filters, same thing. The filter is the same. It works just like a filter that you had before. Sorting capability is available to you, but it does much more than that. Allows you to do arithmetic works also. For example, we put sold. And I'm putting amounts in here. 2000, 201, 2002, something like this. And then I pretend that these are my amount that we sold and be all the way down. So it must be very much larger, but we get down. Okay. Let's say we sold that much and we would like to have the totals in here. Do auto sum. It automatically creates that. And this is based on sum. Call this one total. If you notice, it also makes it a little bit different color, font changes, so on and so forth. But if you click on that one, you notice that it creates a subtotals and then says 109 sold. 109 is a code for sum. You don't have to know those numbers. It's something internal to Excel. The sold represents the column, which is in this case this array. This is column sold. And you're doing subtotal. Why do we subtotal? Just in case, if you go in and deselect all, let's say I'm going to countries, deselecting all, and I want only the US to show up. And I click on OK. All the totals for US is automatically totaled, subtotaled, and put in here. So it will calculate only totals for USA. Now, if you decided that you want to change that, you can go ahead, change your filter for Brazil, take USA off, and these are all totals for Brazil, and the numbers significantly different. So table works the same way, but it's much, much more powerful than filter. You can always insert, you can always add to your table, and it's much nicer to work with. Hopefully this helped. This concludes the second training session on data analysis. Conditional formatting. Microsoft defines conditional formatting as a tool and a feature in Excel which allows you to apply a format to a cell or range of cells based on certain criteria. In other words, when the data is presented visually, people understand it instantly. Excel contains a fantastic tool for automatically format data that is called conditional formatting. Conditional formatting lets you change the color of a cell based on what is inside the cell. Want to quickly highlight a cell over $1,000 or cell that contains specific text? Want to flag all duplicates or mark values in one list that are missing in another? Conditional formatting can do all these and much more. If you work with data in Excel, you'll find conditional formatting very useful. For example, here we have Dolphin Resorts annual sales report. As you can see, it's a bunch of numbers here, and it's very hard to see. Sales under 200 is hard to look and hard to find. With conditional formatting, the data will pop up. There are many ways of looking into conditional formatting. We have data bar. What they do is showing your data in a graphical format that is very useful to look at. In this case, as the bars are longer, there are more cells in comparison to the ones that they are shorter bars, they are smaller cells. We can have conditional formatting with color scales. In this case, we are interested to find out anything that's under 500 showing up in red. Anything between 500 and 1000, it is yellow. And anything that's greater than $1,000 cells, it is in green. So the data show itself much better. We can have icon sets, same type of things. Much greater values are in green, low values are in red, and in between they are in yellow. We can have conditional formatting set up in terms of greater than value. In this case, we're looking at anything that's greater than 3000. So as you can see, it shows up our spreadsheet and data visually. Or we can have something looking at top 10%. They are the top 10% of cells of entire spreadsheet that we have here. Okay, now let's find out how we're going to do this. On this one, let's first select our cells. In this case, since I already have a conditional formatting associated with it, I'm going to clear my rule. And now I'm going to apply conditional formatting to this. One of the things, if I'm planning to have data bar, you can select data bar and your gradients is automatically showing up. Whichever that you like, you can select that one. And then you can go forward. This is the data bar. If I want to use color scales, this shows me my color scales. Of course, you can apply your rules. If you have a highlights, let's say greater than, less than, in between, equal to something, or text that contains data grid, duplicate values. If I click on the duplicate values, how quickly my data will show itself. So I'm just going to again clear from entire sheet. Now let's look at our icon sets one more time. Let's say we have our year and percentage of cell changes. What we do in this case, we highlight conditional formatting, icons. Let's say I'm interested to just use my 3 shapes here. Now changing my rules. I don't want all of them to show up, only 2. Manage rule, edit rule. In this case, not interested to show this. And also I am interested only showing, not this one, when it is greater than or equal, let's say 40. Apply. Okay. That's how you set up your conditional formatting. Of course, the 50% and 89% greater than 40. It's fairly simple and it is visual. It's much easier for eye to look and it's a better report to send to your managers. In this segment, we're defining SparkLines. What are they? Why are we using it? And then we're creating some SparkLines and then customize it. SparkLine is a tiny chart in a worksheet cell that provides a visual representation of a data. Use SparkLines to show trends in a series of values such as seasonal increases or decreases, economic cycle, or highlight maximum and minimum values. Position SparkLine near its data for greatest impact. Unlike charts on an Excel worksheet, SparkLines are not objects. A SparkLine is actually a tiny chart in the background of a cell. In this spreadsheet, we're showing SparkLine in cells H6 and H5. H6 is a column SparkLine and H5 is a line SparkLine. And also on H9 for 5-year win-loss, we have win-loss SparkLine. Why using SparkLine? Data presented in a row or column is useful, but patterns can be hard to spot at a glance. The context for these numbers can be provided by inserting SparkLines next to the data. Taking up a small amount of room, a SparkLine can display a trend based on adjacent data in a clear and compact graphical representation. You can quickly see the relationship between SparkLine and its underlying data. When your data changes, you can see the change in the SparkLine immediately. For an example, if I change 15% here to 80, now our line immediately changes. Now let's create some SparkLines. Select empty cell, go to Insert. Under SparkLines group, we're selecting Line. Then select Data Range. And select OK. Now I can copy my SparkLine all the way down. Before I do this, I will make some changes. I add some high points, low points, or I could have just selected markers. So it just put all of my points showing up in that one. And then copy it by changing to a plus and drag it down. We can also do another way. Let's say select our cells, insert, SparkLine group, line. Now for data range, we are selecting everything. Okay. And we can do the same thing. Select markers. And all shows up in the markers. We can also change the weights by going to SparkLines color, weights. Let's say we're selecting 1.5. It's okay. Can be used that way. Now, SparkLine columns. Again, select my cells, empty cells, insert, SparkLine group, select columns, select my range, OK, and here it is. It's showing up in at a glance. You can actually see much better as what's going on with each one of those regions. Next, let's take a look at our win-loss. Let's say, for example, we are looking at a stock performance. Right here, select my range, select my cell, insert, SparkLine group, win-loss, select your data. Okay. that shows what is the representation of our stock performance in 1 year. Of course, under your SparkLine tools design, you can make your editing with any colors that you wish, or markers can be changed with the different colors. High points, you have complete controls of what to display.